Here we have a word problem with sequences in series, arithmetic. We have a fitness club. I've written the question out there for you. This is more of a longer form answer question. At the end of the second week, they have 870 members. At the end of the seventh week, they have 1,110 members. And we want to know how many members, assuming this is an arithmetic sequence, how many members do they add each week? And how many do they have at the end of the first week? I'm going to do this a couple of different ways. One is just sort of the brute force method, thinking through it. So think here, here's the first week, second week, third week, fourth week, fifth week. So at the end of the second week, they have 870 members. And then at the end of the seventh week, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we have 7 weeks here. And at the end of the 7th week, they have 1, 1, 1, 1, 0. So think here, there's a space here, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going to have to add something. 1 here, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. This represents the space in here. So we're going to have to add something 5 times to this to get this. So it's going to be 870 plus 5 times the common difference is going to be equal to 1110. This is sort of a really, really crude way of doing it, but it's how some of you may end up doing it in your tests. So we're going to take this, subtract this, divide by 5, and we're going to get D is equal to 48. So in other words, they're going to be adding 48 new members every week. I'm just going to write this in here. My brute force way of doing it, sort of the logical thinking through way. This would be harder to do if, let's say, this was the second week and this was the 300th week. It'd be hard to do that. So let's look now and do this through a mathematical way as well. And once you have this here, we can use our formulas. Tn is equal to T1, the first week, plus n minus 1 times D. This is the truth. We're looking for D. We don't know what D is. We don't know what T1 is. But we do know a couple of things. We know at the end of the second week. So we know T2, which is equal to 870. That's what we're given here. That's equal to T1 plus, this is the second week, so 2 minus 1 is just 1 times D. So T1 plus D. Obviously, that sort of makes sense. So then we go to T7. Well, we know this is 1, 1, 1, 0. And that's equal to T1, just like this formula, plus 7 minus 1 plus 6 times D. Now we have 2 formulas here. I'm going to erase some of these things that don't mean anything here. That's these things and this. So now we have 2 equations with 2 unknowns. Equation number 1, equation number 2. You can use these to solve it by noticing here you have T1, here you have T1, and here you have D and 60. So what if we subtract this going upward? I'm going to go upward in this direction here and subtract. So here we're going backwards. We're going to take this, subtract this. That will get rid of this one variable here. So 110 minus 870. If you want to do the math here, it's 1110, 870. Subtracting like that, you're going to get 240. You can reverse it and add it. This minus this is this. So it's equation 2 minus this is going to give me 0. So this, I don't need to write this in here. This minus this is going to give me 5D. So 5D is equal to this. Now I can divide both sides. 240 divided by 5D, or 240 divided by 5. I'm going to get, if this was divided by 10, this would be 24, so it's going to be twice that, or 48. Just doing that in my head, which is the same as the value over here. So I used the definitions of T2, T7 to arithmetically solve for 48. So now I have D is equal to 48. I've done it both ways. Probably your teacher in a test would want you to do something like this rather than the brute force method. But if you're stuck and you're at the end of your time for the problem, just do it however you want to. You're going to get partial marks most likely. Now they want to know how many there would be at the end of the first week. So we have this for the second week. We have 870 at the end of the second week, and we're adding 48. So we just subtract 48 from that. If we subtracted 50 from this, this would be 820, but it's 2 more than that. So it's 822. So the first week, or T1, would be 822. This is a fairly involved problem that does require some knowledge and moving around with these formulas, but I think it's a really good exercise. So rewind this one, do this one again, and check out the next video. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.